we are again down the bass cave, the laboratory, the bass lab. And what I'm trying to do, I don't know how I'm going to put this together, but I had a sort of an unboxing, unpackaging thing. I went up to Rogers with the intention of trying to find a more weedless version of the chatterbait. I'd heard about the Freedoms. I even looked in my box. I already had one of these in 3/8 of an ounce in my box that was buried under my other chatterbait. So I must have picked it up when they first come out. But they've been out for a while. But I like the original Z-Mans, but I don't like that fact. And I just last week lost one of these. Well, I don't know who I was watching, but you know, they're talking about these, and I hadn't really even paid much attention to how these were made. Other than you could, you know, everybody, the big talk, you can switch, once these hooks dull, you can switch them out and do this and that. Well, like I showed you in this one, I've never had that problem. As long as these things are still going, I usually end up breaking them, you know, getting them stuck somewhere down low where I can't get to because I've thrown it so far back in there, I end up breaking them off. And they usually look like this, and they've done their job. They've caught me a bunch of fish. These are only like $5. But then this thing came out, and it's through Z-Man. It says original chatterbait, but this isn't the original chatterbait. It's their new Freedom and Freedom lure, or Freedom baits, or I forget what they call it. Is in like union with Z-Man. But what I want to do, and I think is going to make this thing awesome. Of course, you could put any kind of regular plastic on here. You're going to rig it like Texas style. You're going to bring the head up, pop it on here. That's going to keep that on there. You're going to, you know, bring it around like you normally would. Get it flush here. Then you're going to, you know, some guys do, some don't. Bring the tag, you know, or not tag, but pull this and just get it into the skin of the, you know, soft plastic you're using. And I'll show you here shortly. So we're going to rig those up and give that a shot. But then the whole thing of doing this, when I walk up to Rogers and look in, these are on sale. These are the old scrounger jigs. And as you can see, when you drop them, they look like a perfect stand-up head jig almost. And they're going to, you know, even if these don't work. And I think the reason why you don't hear much about the scrounger anymore, these things work okay when this is straight. Keeping that, I don't even know, it's like a rubbery plastic bill or whatever you would call it, and of course these snap things are going bye-bye. I don't know what they're rated for, but I think you would set the hook very hard at all and you're going to yank that right apart. That looks way too flimsy for me, and I like snaps but not that small. And this is, I just got the 1/8 ounce to try out, and they've got the hook keeper like I like for the Z-Man stuff, so I thought, well, why not give it a shot? And I'm going to be trying them with different baits. Alright guys, we're going to see. I figured I might as well do it. What these baits look like under the water when they first, you know, touch down, how they fall. Now here's a scrounger. 1/8 ounce with a Z-Man crawdad. But as you can see, like I thought, that scrounger jig falls straight down. And it's also the same. It's giving you a pretty much stand-up presentation with the Z-Man. Any kind of a floating, especially the Z-Man, I think it's more buoyant than any other thing you'll use. And then of course this should be able to be swam back. Okay, here's a scrounger with the TRD, and I don't think these scrounger heads were originally set out to be, you know, I don't think their thing is being a stand-up jig head, but they do a pretty good job. And then I'm also going to go ahead and try this. Now this is an 1/8 ounce scrounger jig head. Anybody wonders, like, what are you doing all this stuff with the scroungers for? Because Rogers Sporting Goods up in Liberty, they were having a sale on them, so it got me to thinking that, and there is a lot of flow in here. This isn't salt water, but this tank is a saltwater ready tank. It's got crazy and intense saltwater lighting, or lighting for saltwater, flow and filtration enough to, you know, handle corals. That's why there is quite a bit of flow in this tank. Now this is my old Z-Man chatterbait. There's nothing fancy about it. It does have, well, it does land straight up too. The thing about this is what makes me afraid of, like, just kind of using it as a jig also, you know, jiggling it and stuff before I were to set the hook, you know, or pick it up to reel it in, is that, you know, that huge hook you can make it out there is totally open up to anything. And so, you know, I lose a lot of these if I don't pretty much throw them out and pick them up fairly quickly. And then here's the same Z-Man trailer, but that's the new Freedom chatterbait, and it's hard to make out because it's got so much skirting material. But in there somewhere you'll see that that hook is completely covered up, just like a Texas rigged worm would be. Yeah, see there? If you can make that out in there. So I should be able to throw this out, let it hit bottom, move it, you know, play with it more as far as using it like a jig, a traditional jig, whether it's just almost shaking it some, popping it a little bit, not really taking off right away, because sometimes you'll throw in spots where you think the fish is going to be close to right where you're at. Then of course you want to pick it up, you know, and then work it like you normally would a chatterbait, which I normally work a chatterbait, just getting it fast enough to kind of stay on close to the bottom as I can, with the blade still, you know. Also wanted to just show you real quick, this is just your standard Ned rig. That's the TRD. Alright, hope everybody liked this video. I just thought I'd tie on one of my swim baits. I haven't had any luck with these yet, but I would think spawning in beds that, I don't know, I guess I haven't had clear enough water, haven't actually seen any beds, but imagine you threw that out and just sat and nosed it in a bed long enough, some big bass would have to come and eat that thinking it was eating their egg. Alright guys, hope you liked the video. Hit that like button if you did, subscribe if you haven't, and share with your friends. And as always, thanks for watching.